call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilmember Fickman is gone tonight. Approval of the agenda. We have one change on the agenda. We will be taking 7A off of the agenda.
No,
Is it 7? It's 7A, isn't it?
7A. I'm on the wrong council meeting, sorry.
Okay. That's why we like paper and not laptops.
Okay, now.
Okay.
Amen. Motion to approve?
Any other changes? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with that item dropped?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Diane. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shallen. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the November 3rd, 2021 regular meeting. All received them in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, or clarification needed with those minutes? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 3rd, 2021 regular meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Shallen, second.
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. This now brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Call a third time. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Our public open forum is closed. We have no public hearings. We move on to our reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report. Joe?
Good evening, everybody. I got the October report here. If you look on the October, where you see where we broke things down from ICRs and warnings, starting October, we're done with the, there'll be no more warning numbers based off of we started a new program in May, and we found out that Melissa's workload kind of doubled because with the way the warnings were being entered, she had to do everything twice for a warning. So basically that the warnings were basically the traffic stops. So we still have them documented with an ICR. We're just not generating a second police report for that because it's redundant. We already have it in the ICR spot. We're not putting them we're not doing a separate one for the warning for a non-criminal offense. So that you'll see that. The numbers will still be accurate, just the warnings won't be on there anymore. If you look, pretty average October. If you look from the past years, October is always a slower month for us. It's always a big vacation month for guys at the office, and things just kind of slow down after the summer rush. Some of the highlights though, we had 21 medical calls through the month. Another big one was 13 behavioral health calls. So almost every other day we're dealing with behavioral health issues. 7 alarm calls. School's back in session, so 11 juvenile problem calls. Two separate curfew violation citations were issued. Assisted the state patrol 8 times, Melrose PD 4 times, Stearns County 10, Todd County 1. Like I said, that doesn't mean that we're going out of town that many times. It could have been us checking an address or getting information for those agencies. So not necessarily that we're all over the place, it just we assisted those agencies with their calls. Couple domestic assault arrests, couple DWI arrests. Nothing too crazy as far as any of that goes, kind of on average. Some other highlights for October, we got written down here, Mark Grinstead's back to work after being off from his broken arm. So he got back in action early October, got put back into the schedule, which helped us a lot. And then Gary Nelson retired at the end of October, October 31st, he retired, so he's officially retired now. The last few weeks, once Mark got back, and the last couple weeks when Gary was, we actually took him off the road and he helped out and we got some painting and some stuff done in the office that we haven't done for a long time, so Gary's last 2 weeks he spent getting some upkeep done in the office, which was nice. In October, we received a $1,200 grant from AAA Insurance that I put in for earlier in the year. We got that. That money has to be used towards traffic safety. And then the grant they requested that would use the money for updating flashlights and traffic cones for those patrol cars. The guys all carry flashlights on their belts or in their pockets at night. And it's always nice to have a spare one in the car. So I think we'll get those upgraded with that money. TZD coordinator Becky, she dropped off. We got a brand new PVT. We didn't even ask for it. She came in and asked if we needed one, and we actually did need one. One went out on us, so that saved us $900. We got a free PVT this month. She also put us in connection with Hennepin County, who upgraded all their riot helmets, and we got 10 free riot helmets from Hennepin County, and they're basically brand new. They got a bunch of new ones, so I spent yesterday. They were brown. We had them painted up black, so they match our uniforms. So that was nice too. Those riot helmets are $300-$400 a piece. So
You got those from Hennepin County?
yeah,
Won't they need those
they
down
got
there?
new ones.
Yeah, they have much more use.
They got new ones, and we didn't have any. We'll probably never need them, but the nice thing is we got them if we,
Yep.
if we do. So at zero cost. So other than that, I think that's all I got. If you guys have any questions.
I noticed that you got 6 more people off the road for revoked or canceled driver's license.
Yep.
And of course, if that's the case, they got no insurance either, because insurance won't cover that.
Yeah, and that's pretty on average. I mean, we'll get a few more in the summertime, it seems like, but yeah, we'll average 10 revoked drivers off the street, or off the road.
Thank you.
A month typically.
Any other questions, comments? I know when I first seen no warnings on there, I thought Sauk Center threw the Minnesota Nice out the window, but
They're still there. Like I said, basically what that warning came down to is Melissa was getting backed up. We were trying to figure out, and I asked her, and she said, well, I'm entering all these warnings twice. I was like,
yeah.
we don't need to, there's really no need for that. We still have it all documented. It's just no sense in entering something twice if we don't need to.
I went down and talked to her today, and she kind of just took me through the process,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
could
sure after you saw it, it
totally
makes sense.
understand it, so,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
6B, City Engineer Report. Keith?
Good afternoon, good evening, Mayor and Council. Well, we got projects finally finishing, projects starting, and projects, to be started in a while here. The Information Center site, Aerosmith Plat 3, is finally complete, at least everything that needed to be done this year, so that is good. All the seating's done and silt fence is up and those kinds of things. I think one of the tenants looks to be getting ready towards opening pretty soon, and the other ones are, next spring before those things get started on those. So that project is finally completed. The South Sauk Center Industrial Park project, they actually just got started this week. So if you happen to go by there is earthwork happening slowly at the beginning here. There's still equipment arriving, and so you'll see that ramp up over the next few days. Pipe work, we're actually going to have 2 pipe crews that will be here, assuming everything happens as told. Should be here on Monday. We'll actually have 2 pipe crews working on there. They intend to get a chunk of work done yet this year before things close up on them. It all depends on weather. If things really get cold for some reason, things might shut down earlier, but that's the intention at this point in time. So we'll see where that goes. So that one's off and running. And the 2022 Second Street project, that project is well under design at this point. We're not quite to the point of bringing it to the city for review and the PUC for review, but that'll probably be a few weeks off yet before we get to that point. But kind of still on schedule, looks like for that late January, maybe 1st of December or February bid. So that's still on schedule, so things are going well. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions? Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Keith.
Thank you.
Planning Commission report, Sarah?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have a copy of the Planning Commission agenda. We had our public hearing on November 9th, and it was for a variance for Zion Lutheran Church. That's an action item later on the agenda, and also 2 minor subdivisions or lot splits, also, again, that pertain to the Zion Lutheran Church. Any questions about that?
That is an action item coming up,
Yep, 3 of them.
so. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Airport Board?
Okay, the airport board met in regular session on November 10th. That's a regular meeting. A couple things, Stearns County has finally recorded the zoning ordinance, and that has gone down to the Midnight Aeronautics for review, and they didn't find any issues yet, so that's good. So I am filing the closeout report on that. We'll get our final funding from them. The airfield maintenance project is complete with the exception of 2 punch list items, which are damage to the corner of a T-hanger, which they have agreed to pay. We're just waiting for the steel. And then they seal coated over the compass rose, which is the paint, the north-south rose that's on the surface of the taxiway. And what'll happen is that seal coat won't soak in, and the first time we plow, it's gonna be gone. So in the spring, we'll have to deal with that, redoing the compass rose out there. And maybe they'll just scrape the seal coat off and the compass rose will be there just fine. We'll see what it looks like after a year of plowing. The environmental assessment for the land acquisition is underway. We've done the environmental review for asbestos and for hazardous waste, and those paperwork type of reviews have been done. And then there's been an appraisal done, or appraisal is going to be in process soon, I guess. So we'll work forward on that. We really won't have work happening out there probably till spring because we're going into the next grant season for that. The capital improvement plan was updated with our entitlement fund balances. Our 2022 balance is $572,946, and so that leaves it open to do some project out there, and the airport board will be talking about what they want to do next. The board also reviewed the airport consultant applications, and they voted to stay with the same consultant that we have. That is an action item tonight. And also reimbursement requests for open grants have been submitted for the maintenance and operations, which is something that we do every year. If you recall that we received $30,000 in CARES grants for the airport, that has all been submitted. I heard yesterday that the FAA approved that, so we'll be receiving that money. The CRSA is another grant from the airport that was $13,000, and now I can submit that now that the CARES has been expended. Of course, the zoning ordinance that I referred to, we received the final money for that now that the closeout report has been filed. And then the airfield maintenance, the application has been sent in and sent for the reimbursement request, but that'll take, hopefully by the end of the year we'll have that. So hopefully all of these that I've submitted or we have submitted now will be back in the city by the end of the year. Kind of makes the books look better at the end of the year, you know, because we have to spend the money first and then we have to wait to get reimbursed. So I just have the one action item for you tonight, and that is on the airport consultant.
Questions? Concerns? Okay, thank you. 7A has been removed. 7B, approved 2022 wage adjustment for fire department.
I have one fire and one ambulance here. Which way do you want fire first? Okay.
Yeah, it
I
says
guess I have
fire
it backward
first.
on the agenda.
Yeah, they're
Okay, so
backwards.
the fire chief, Steve Moritz, has requested that the city consider a wage increase for paid on-call time for the fire department employees. The current wage is $12 per hour. It's been in effect since 2018. Prior to that, it was $11 an hour for about 10 years. So they haven't seen a lot of increase over the years. They're requesting a minimum of $15 for paid on-call. So this is when they actually go out on a call, that's what they're paid at that time. They are paid annually in December, from December 1st to November 30th. They have a little bit of a fiscal year difference than we do. And so this would be effective December 1st of this year for next year's pay. And the total cost for that, I did a little bit of dollar figuring today, and of course they're based on how many calls we get, but it'll probably be about $3,500 for the full year to cover that cost. So, and that comes out of the fire department revenues. So the request is to approve an adjustment of pay for the fire department to $15 per hour, effective December 1st, 2021.
Questions, comments? Do I have a motion to approve the adjustment of pay for the fire department to $15 per hour effective December 1st, 2021?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Shallon, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Any other comments? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. Approve 2022 wage adjustment ambulance.
So Kathy Strufert, the ambulance director, she submitted a request for a wage increase of 2% for runtime, training, and admin time for the department. This increase was included in the budget for 2022. It's paid through ambulance revenues. At the budget meeting, she did bring up that she was proposing to do that. I did base an approximate $4,000 based upon our current call volume. Again, you know that depending on how many calls they get, you know, that's going to drive how much, what this is going to hit the budget at. So what we're looking at is to approve the annual adjustment of 2% for ambulance personnel for runtime, training time, and admin time. And this would be effective January 1st, 2022.
Questions? Comments? Do I have a motion to approve the annual adjustment of 2%?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi, a second.
I'll second.
Second by Shallon. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. 7D, approve appointment of airport consultant.
So every 5 years, the city is mandated to reevaluate its relationship with its airport consultant or engineer. This is to assure the FAA and MnDOT Aeronautics that the consultant continues to meet the needs of the city and that they remain qualified. The airport board advertised for consultants, accepted proposals until November 5th. They then reviewed the proposals at the November 10th regular meeting. Upon review, the board did not see a need to make a change. They reiterated they're happy with the service they're getting from the current consultant and voted to retain the services of Bolton and Mank. Now, the other option they could have had is they could have gone into full-blown interviews of everybody, but after reviewing the documents that were submitted and their relationship with our current consultant, they just determined just to have him reappointed. So that is what the recommendation is to appoint Bolton Mank as the airport consultant for the airport.
Questions? Comments? Do I have a motion to appoint Bolton Mank as the airport consultant?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shallon. Any other discussion? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. 7E, approve resolution 2021-107, granting variance.
So this variance request and the lot splits to follow are all interrelated. At its November 9th regular meeting, the Planning Commission, acting as the Board of Adjustment, held a public hearing to consider a request to vary from the minimum lot size requirements for a residential lot. The request was submitted by Zion Lutheran Church on a parcel owned by them at 811 Sinclair Lewis Avenue. The request is to allow for a residential lot that is currently pre-existing non-conforming at 6,996 square feet to be adjusted by lot splits and recombinations resulting in a non-conforming lot at 6,994 feet. And this is where 10,500 is required. In addition, the minimum lot width, which is also non-conforming at 53 feet, would become non-conforming at 61 feet, so it becomes wider. And that's where 75 is required. And so this action right now is not to cause the lot splits, it's just to allow the resulting lots to remain non-conforming after the lot split. And I do have resolution 2021-107 approving those variances for Zion Lutheran Church or Evangelical Lutheran Zion's Congregation, Inc.
Questions? Concerns? The Planning Commission held the public hearing. We only had one write-in, one letter that was opposed to it from anyone in the neighborhood, and the rest was all, there's no comment.
What was the reason for the opposition?
Opposition was that basically, according to the letter, from what I could tell from it, is there's just some land squabbles going on a neighbor and the property. So That's the only thing we could see, so that was the only no. There was other options looking at, on this whole process, but this worked out to be the best way, so. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-107 approving the variance?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Shellen, second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. Approve Resolution 2021-108 approving the minor subdivisions.
So this as well, application has been received from Zion Lutheran. And you have the map in front of you. It's a little easier for you to follow along. The request splits 10 feet by 53 feet from the south end of the lot on 811 Sinclair Lewis Avenue and adds it to the adjoining property. And that adjoining property splits 8 feet by 66 feet from their northwest corner or northwest side and adds it back to that other lot. So the one lot takes 10 by 53 off and adds it to the neighbor, and then that neighbor takes 8 by 66 off and adds it back. If you kind of see, that's a little bit of a swap. So what that does is it makes the lot on 811 Sinclair Lewis Avenue have a little bit of an L on the side of it, and then it makes the lot shorter in depth, and that depth that they take off the back of their lot gets added to the church lot. And so, of course, you just took the prior action to allow this non-conforming lot to continue to exist at, I believe, 2 square feet less than it currently is. And so this is Resolution 2021-108, approving the minor subdivision.
Comments, questions?
I'm assuming the goal of doing all this is to do some sort of construction at the church, is that correct?
Eventually, they have some plans to, and this kind of opens up some options for them.
Right.
This is the part that the planning commission had the most discussion on. Because it originally looked at, why don't you just combine the 2 lots together and be done with it, and you don't have to do the variances, you don't have to do the, because then they own the lot. But then if they would ever decide to sell the
Right.
property, then they gotta go back to the variance, so it wasn't gonna save any paperwork or
Makes sense.
anything like that, so that's the reason why
Right.
this is how that worked out. If everybody understands how that,
Good idea.
so. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-108?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 4 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, lot sales update.
Just to bring you up a little bit, on the Arrowsmith plat, Lot 2, which is the middle lot, and continue to work with them on some changes. We had pretty much everything done, and then they had a little bit of a, I don't know what you want to call it, a little change in how it was going to be structured. So they're creating a different LLC and doing that, so we will have to readdress the TIF agreement and the developer contract. So there'll be some action at the council to make those changes coming forward. Their plan is to begin construction like in April. So sometime between there and now, we'll be addressing all those. I talked to our attorney that does the developer agreement, and I said, until they get that part, the LLC and everything completely done, there's no sense in us spending money on them in case something changes again. So that's where that one is. It's still moving forward. It just got to be too late to think about doing any construction yet this fall. And so that's looking to come together for the spring. Lot 3, the due diligence period actually expired today. And so today they notified me that they are going to exercise the additional 60 days to close. We have a couple outstanding things to do up on there. One is the common driveway between them and Lot 2. They're negotiating or working together on exactly how that driveway is going to look so it can be put in at one time, not having the driveway designed one way on one side and the other on the other. So that's being negotiated. And the second one is that Caribou is going to be on the same sign as Lot 3, and so there's an easement that needs to be done so that, because they want their electric to run up and do their part of the sign, and the other business will have the electric for their part, so they can each control it. So just some easements and legal. And then there was also that clause that the city won't sell another lot to a business of that same type within a half a mile. So I had to tell them all the lots, property we own, like the wastewater plant and the substation and the types of real estate we own in the area, and they're going to be filing declarations on those that we won't sell them to somebody for a similar business. So a few things like that. It's more paperwork related than anything else. Their goal is to close by the end of the year, is what they told me today. So I've been working with the closing company quite extensively. So if they say they're going to get it done, they probably will. On the Sauk Center Industrial Park, that lot one, the first lot that you did, we talked about the LOI on that. And so we had given a counter on the buyback, and the buyer has accepted that. And so now the new formal purchase agreement has been drafted and should be showing up in my office in the next few days. So we will have that to execute, and then it's just a matter of getting that to closing. And they don't have any special conditions that they want. They're going to close locally, so I don't see that that's going to take a lot of time to do. So that's kind of the update on the lot sales.
No, you said that potentially the one lot at the information site is going to be closing by the end of the year. Could it be sooner, or are they shooting for right around the end of the year?
She wants to do it in December, is what she said.
Okay.
So, you know how when you go to closings, so much stuff
Right.
can happen.
Any other questions? Okay, we have no new business. Brings us to our consent agenda. We have scheduled claims, unpaid claims of $97,835.58 for a total of the same amount. And we had October checks of paid claims / payroll of $758,826.83. Is there any questions about the consent calendar? Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Heidi, second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against.
Four in favor.
Or 4 against, I'm sorry. You get in a rut after a while.
Right.
Informational items?
The only item I have is the charter lineup.
Changing again.
They
Okay.
change it every month.
Yes, they do. Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shallon. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.